All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
And welcome aboard, everybody. Copperhead Road podcast, live on Rumble, always on Rumble, the number one streaming platform for this uncensored and do what you want to do type of talk. And that's what we do here. Yeah, I'm Footer. That's Rex, and we are ready to rock and roll here. I got my hood up. It's a little chilly. Got a cold front down the old southeast. You know.
It's a little bit of a paradox thing though. You got the hood up, but you got your sleeves up too. So what is your noggin cold, but your arms are a little
okay,
tight.
Since you're gonna call me out, I'll break it down for you. This
All right.
sweatshirt's a little tight on me.
Oh,
It's a little tight. Yeah. So when I go like this, right, I feel very constricted. You know, so if I pull it up, it gives me a little more in case I want to get a little bit crazy. You know what I'm saying? In case I want to fucking do this shit, I can do it. I don't feel fucking all restricted. Does that make sense?
I don't think I've ever been as uncomfortable as I am on the show as I am right now.
Are you kidding me? Have you listened to your fucking self for the last 80 some odd episodes? You're extremely uncomfortable a lot of the times.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Oh, do you have any receipts on that, or are you just gonna basically
again play anything from 1 to here we are, folks. Ta-da! Like that. That's exactly what I'm saying. So I'd move on if I'm you.
So I'm uncomfortable with you, or you're uncomfortable with me, or I'm just making people uncomfortable. What's the
boom?
Actual
Three. Third option. You're making people uncomfortable. You do all the time.
So yeah, I think that's outrageous.
Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. So I think we should just move on. To be honest,
so you're making me feel uncomfortable once again. So,
you know what? Do what you may with it. Is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Do it what you may. But let's take a second to
No, we need to jump right into Officer Tatum now. Otherwise, people get mad.
God, you have no idea what you're doing. Like when do you understand? Like if you don't know us by now, the more you tell me you don't like something as a listener, you do realize from day one, this podcast it's for him and I, and we're letting you in on the goodness. You know what I mean? Now I want you to be happy. I want you to be entertained. I want you to have fun. But we're going to do this on Copperhead Road podcast terms. You know what I mean? We are so welcoming. But you need to, and we've said this before, you need to take an approach where you're coming down to Thanksgiving dinner and you want to sit with your family and your pals and just chop it up a bit, as the kids say. You know what I mean? Just chop it up. You know what I'm saying? And then every once in a while, you sit back, you let us fucking cook, baby. Just let us fucking cook. You know what I mean? I'll put my fucking chef's hat on.
Fucking alarm comes up, bing, wake up, shove a turkey leg in your mouth. No, that's not how it goes. That's not how we go. Come down, maybe have a Danish.
That's so fair.
You know, maybe remark to your cousin how Aunt Susan's getting really, really fat. She smells weird. Right. You know, have a laugh. Have a laugh on Aunt Susan's expense. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Watch your cousin come in, who we all obviously know is a heroin addict, and nods off for half the Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? And we just all ignore it while she goes into the bathroom for 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, just nods off for the rest of the Thanksgiving. Wakes up with fucking a candied yam in her left ear.
Right, but goes into the bathroom, then comes back out yelling DJ Khaled, all fucking happy and excited.
You see? So again, that's much like this, you know. Yeah. So you come in, sit at the Copperhead Road podcast table. Come sit at our come sit at our table.
Yeah.
And become one with us. You know what I mean? Enjoy the company, enjoy the goodness. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful people that listen to the show on a regular basis. And I want to tell you, truly, I appreciate it. You have no idea how happy it makes me to see you guys sit at the table. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cowards out there too that stand outside the house and like the windows cracked a little bit and they just yell.
Okay.
I hate your turkey. I hate your, you know what I mean? Like just yelling, they hate everything. You know what
I
I
was a
mean?
little nervous you were going to go into like throwing rocks at our building again, and I was going to get completely lost.
Did you miss that on the second listen around?
No, I think I figured it out.
Okay.
You know, it was
a lot less uncomfortable than it felt when I was doing it. I got to be honest with you. I listened back. I'm fine with it.
Okay, good. That's then we're all on board the Foots train.
As you should be. Again, the problem is when the Foots train when it's not a problem when I go off track, because that's just kind of how this train goes. But I don't like being told.
Said to the people in East Palestine, "Good night, everybody."
Ta-da! See, like that's a perfect example of like little things. Like you should be laughing at the ta-da. Do you understand what the ta-da is? Do you understand what the ta-da means now? You know what I mean? I hope you do. I really hope you do. If you really understand it, you know. And the good night, everybody. Like, if you don't understand why that's funny, I really don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and if you're annoyed that we get, that we do the show and we're on Spotify and so many other places, you'd be really annoyed. We get paid to do it.
I'm not really, kind of a shocker to me as well. But and here's another thing. Would this make you feel better? What if would you like us to add to every thumbnail 30 minutes of nonstop banter? Would that work for you? Yeah. I wonder if that would work for you. Maybe we'll try that.
And it does behoove you to like stroke our egos a little bit because we give out shirts and stuff. So be nice.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And again, I just want to make sure that everybody realizes that we really do appreciate all the love. Everybody coming in and right, there you go. Boom, right on the screen. Thank you. That's what we do. All right. So we will move on from the introduction of us addressing the listeners. Oh, man, what I want to do is I think we've neglected her for a few episodes, and I want to give my full love and support to Karen, the best commenter that I've ever experienced in all my years of doing shows. I got to be honest, and being in the music industry for 20 some odd years prior, I've gotten a lot of hate and a lot of criticism. And I got to tell you, she is the best. She's the best. She's my favorite. And I think she kind of turned a little bit of a corner, I don't think she likes us, nor should she. But I think she's on board. I think she's not a fan of us. I want to say she's a fan of the show.
Yeah, it's like sort of like a hate watch kind of a thing. I think is what she's trying to pass off. But to be honest, I think she just likes the attention probably that we give her. And again, what's not to like? I'm likable. You're you.
Oh, I am. That's right. And I think we've established that clearly. She has a soft spot in her heart for me, which is fine, and I understand it. And
I'm not 100% convinced on that either.
What?
I'm not.
Oh, no. But that's here nor there. I want to address her as she presents. Whoa,
Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Don't present to me, lady. Yeah, but here's what I will do. I will leave with this one question to her. What would you like to talk about? Because I don't want to spew bile. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, here's what you do. I want you to give me you can give me 100 words or less. I don't care. It's up to you. And I'm gonna read out what this could actually be gold. I'm gonna read out whatever statement you want to be read out on this show. I don't care what it is. Okay, I will read it out. I will give you a platform. A matter of fact, I'll put that really out to everybody. I could do shit. I'll come up with a little stinger, and we can have a segment on the show where you know, have your voice heard. You know what I mean? All you need to do is when you comments, don't even say what you want to say. Here's what. Hey, let's say you like us. Hey guys, here's what I'd like to say. Then a quotation mark, and write out everything you want to say or you want to be heard on this show, because a lot of you clearly don't like what we say. So this is actually brilliant. Okay, so it's going to be, hey guys, quote, and then boom, you write. I am telling you, we will dictate and we will set up a segment where we will read out what you'd like to do. You're basically going to be running a show. Okay. I think yesterday, we had almost 8,000. I think we had almost 8,000 views yesterday alone. So, let's say on a week. So 56,000 views. Let's just knock it down to 50. Why should I be a braggart? So let's say 50,000 views for a week. 50,000 people will be able to hear you get your point across. Right? That's fair. No?
And if you want to be on the show, email us. The email is on the screen. So you're more than welcome to come on the show and tell us exactly how we should be running the show, and maybe offer your prophetic insights.
Don't call him pathetic.
God,
I heard you.
Fucking idiot is going to go there.
I heard you. Yeah, whatever. You didn't know shit. And I cannot. Never mind. I'm not even going to set you up. Never mind. I was going to say, no, I'm not going to set it up because that'll just unleash the commenters on you for no reason. So I won't even say something. And it wasn't like anything like rude for the most part.
Hey, production, can you zoom me in a little bit?
Oh God, please, production, don't.
I just want to.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself?
Why not?
I don't know.
Never mind. It's obviously too much of a thing.
Yeah, it's just that button with the magnifying glass. Whoa, we don't. Again, why we have to do both of us? I didn't request that. Just the magnifying glass on your little camera remote.
I know. Yeah,
it'll bring you close. It'll bring you closer.
There we go.
There you go. There you go. Now we're cooking with steam.
So what we didn't talk about it, but I would be curious, as a former New Yorker and a former resident of the, I don't know, is Long Island part of the city? I guess. Did you have any thoughts on the election of your new Muslim mayor?
I'm sorry.
Yes, that's fine. That's plenty. We can move on.
Right, it's true. Yeah. No, I've been out of New York for quite a while now, so for me, I got to be honest with you. As a New Yorker, you kind of when you leave your New York pride, it's very hard to shake it for a while, because you really do kind of we just think we're better than you, and for the most part we are. But I will tell you this: I couldn't be happier being out of fucking New York. And like I said, I grew up in Queens, Long Island, the city, and meaning Manhattan. Like I've pretty much lived a little bit of everywhere throughout my life, and it is an absolute disaster. And I'm talking when I was hanging out in Queens, Brooklyn, Long Island, Manhattan, like this is during the fucking 90s, and early 2000s. So Honestly, yo, go check out New York City in the 90s. Yo, that shit that was like back like when it was in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like it was nasty. It was gritty and
Yeah.
but
So,
it was like the
who was the mayor in your prime time there?
Dinkins, and you don't get worse than that, bro.
Yeah.
You know, Dinkins when it was the problem. If you want to look up, I can do it myself, but
Was Koch before him?
he was during Koch was before him and then during Koch was also a little nasty. But I think it was during Koch when they tried to revamp everything. And then again later on, when Giuliani took over, they really went back to the quality of life crimes that were ignored for so long, meaning, Giuliani really pushed back on the squeegee guys. And if anybody's familiar with that's when, any Manhattan corner you'd pull up, you'd be with your family, driving to and you get stuck at a light. And then some freaking homeless dude would come up with a filthy rag and filthy water and a filthy squeegee and legitimately just start washing your window. And, you're like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And then if you didn't give him money or didn't tip him, it's everything from spitting on your fucking window or your car, to the extreme of like, assaulting you, you
Mm.
know. They call them like the broken window laws, you know what I mean? Things like
Yeah.
that,
Yep.
jumping the turnstiles. And again, I'm guilty. We used to when we would skateboard, we would skateboard around Manhattan, you know what I mean? And we would fucking jump turnstiles all day long. But it's those little crimes though that those quality of life crimes do become a problem after a while because it sets a tone, you know.
Do you foresee that sort of coming back now in a flurry?
Oh well, I mean, without a doubt, if you listen, in a nutshell, if you are against the police, if you're against, NYPD, who, let me tell you something, is the largest and most effective police force in the world. There's no two ways about it. I mean, think about what this department does on New Year's Eve alone. The ball drop in Times Square, millions of people, all gathered, in this in this condensed area. The way they're able to keep that for the most part, everybody leaving there unscathed is pretty fucking fantastic.
For sure. Um, so specifically about Mamdani, Mamdani. What do you feel like he's actually going to be able to do? He did promise a lot: free buses and free healthcare, free daycare, control, freezing the rent. Um,
Yeah.
how much of that is he going to be able to actually do?
Well, somebody had asked me this, and this is kind of what I said, and this is absolutely genuine. So if you take all his ideas in regards to what would be considered um, being able to really help people and to really be able to let people thrive and um, be successful, um, and be able to afford just the daily life, not even the excess, but just your daily life, putting food on the table, getting to and from work and all those things, that would be absolutely phenomenal. um Even rent, being able to find some affordable housing and not section 8, not these public I'm sorry, not these government housing, slums. And I'm talking like some affordable housing, like the house that the nice, the decent apartment that you have, that if you're paying, you're probably already paying too much, but if you're paying that certain amount and you're making ends meet, um, if they were able to find a way to cap that, because there is rent control, there has always been rent control in New York,
Yeah.
and like I'll give you an example. Like I remember my grandparents growing up, their apartment was rent controlled, so it worked out nice because they were in that same apartment for years and years and years. and if there was a raise, it was very, very small. It was everything was capped out. It all made sense. It wasn't just supply and demand type of thing, or throw my grandparents out because they're regentrifying the area. You know what I mean? So they realize they can do like that. I don't, I'm okay with not being able to do that. So if he can do any of those things, without absolutely destroying the NYPD, and even him not, even if he doesn't support the NYPD, these are going to be real problems. And I'll land my plane here and wrap it up by saying these type of programs and this type of approach, I think can be successful only in a small, homogenized area. So let's say whatever, a Scandinavian, like a Norway or something of that nature, right? Having it being, number one, like I said, homogenized, it's very easy to tend to all the needs of your constituents, right? So like you're able to really, everything's pretty much the same. And then you have, entire country that has whatever the population it has, right? But it's significantly smaller than even the city of New York. The city of New York is you know what I mean, so big and not being homogenized and being so diverse and having so many people having so many different needs, being able to have one broad stroke of the brush, it's not going to be able to touch all those different things. It's just, unfortunately, and I mean that genuinely, it's unfortunately not. If there's something that he can do that I don't know, but I task anybody to tell me where something of that large of a area can be successful having these type of programs and that type of ideology. I just don't. I've never seen it done.
And speaking of homogeneity, it's not even like a race thing. It's having a core set of values, and we've talked about it before. But
which usually does come though with
right. That's sort of
I think that's all encompassing. I think being
yeah, but like like in the Scandinavian countries, like there's, when you have a vast majority of all the same people with shared history and heritage and all the kind of things, like it's a lot easier to propel that forward. But like in a city like New York, the fact that it was New York sort of carried a gravitas with it that people were very much compelled to be a New Yorker, be proud of the city, be proud of the food, and it didn't even matter exactly what your nationality was. You were sort of forced to be a part of it, and there's a draw to the cities, and especially New York, just as there was to Hollywood if you're making movies. The fact is though, and I think that was what a lot of people leaned on was, well, if you're going to make money in advertising or on Wall Street or any of the other number of businesses that New York became a magnet for, you could lean on them, just be like, well, you're going to make a lot of money, we're going to take a lot of money from you, but this is the only show in town. Same thing with Hollywood. Now Hollywood is on a much farther down the track thing than New York, but I think we saw, especially like with COVID, and with the rise of AI now, these hubs of industry are not going to be as required for a lot of the industries that relied on, well, you have to go to New York because you're going to do this. You have to go to Hollywood because you want to be in a movie. That's not going to be a chip that a lot of these cities have anymore. So they're going to have to really start becoming attractive in other ways in order for them to continue the pay to play kind of places that they are or where they were, because they're not going to be able to keep on saying, well, you know, if you're gonna, you know, make it in advertising, you got to be in the city. That's just not the case anymore. So they really got to. Yeah, sure.
Interject on that point. I think I agree with everything you said, and the only thing that I will push back on a little bit in regards to and I think it's unrelated to the outcome of your point, but I think that New York will listen. I think that no matter what, and no matter, and I'm not using this word to be rude, but no matter how you want to spin it, and I don't mean in a negative way, just in a different way from what I feel is the reality, is that you know, you always are going to have major markets. So as much as maybe the work can be done somewhere else because of AI and remotely doing things, but you still are always going to have major markets in this country, and that will always be the New Yorks, the LAs, you know, let me will always be the big cities, okay, where the industries were always the thing. Now you can go back in time and go look at, you know, Detroit and you know, some of these correct major hubs that were that. But if you look throughout history, New York was always there. The LA, I'm sorry, the West Coast cities were always there, and they've never fallen off because it's not just about being industry driven. Okay, it's being driven by I don't want to minimize it by saying just like a myth, you know what I mean? But it there has to be these major markets in whatever industry you're in, and New York is in a hub that has never been taken off the map
But it
throughout
is
history.
dwindling. LA is also they're in an ebb now. They're not growing. They're not in that same sort of like where Nashville and Austin and Miami, those are starting to pick up. I'm not saying that New York won't ever have the capture of New York, but it can't rely as heavily on the Big Apple as it used to. It's not going to, unless again it can be revived. But you know, you couple that with, you know, not needing to be there, coupling that with the higher rates of crime and not being able to get hotels because you got illegal immigrants and all the, again, you can go off the list of all the problems that New York has. But it's, you know, if you're going to, now he's again wanting to tax the people making money in the city even further. You know, they'll probably still live there, but they'll just change their residence to, you know, Zephyr Hills, Florida, rather than New York, and they'll lose all that tax revenue. So my only point is, again, it's never going to die. But they've got to walk very carefully and be careful that they don't become the next Detroit or Pittsburgh or whatever.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go right on to the last point you made, which is a good point, and I can seg into a little bit of what Madani is doing. But what you did say, I think, fed into my point a little bit even more, as far as like when you brought up like these Austins and these places. Yeah, I agree with you. Look at Austin within 5 years. Look at Austin. They went from being nothing to, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And now you're back to the city is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So my point with that is you have the everlasting New York. You know what I mean? Like that has it's already stood the test of time, was my point to all that. So even bringing up Austin and all those things, that just feeds into my point more. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens. That's why it's almost like I have to believe that I can actually, I don't have to believe it. I can prove it. I saw a statistic that said, I don't remember where it was from, but you had people that voted for Mandani, right? you had the youth, right? You had women big time, right?
Yep.
But then one of the things they broke down was like how long they've lived in New York. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yep. Matt Walsh did
Um,
a big thing on it.
okay. And again, I haven't watched them. I don't watch them, but if it was the same thing, which I'm assuming it is, it was very simple. I mean, if people live there their whole life, they didn't vote for him. If they lived there
Right.
for like 20 years and more, they didn't vote for him. It was these newcomers to New York, and these newcomers, and these people that haven't been there very long. There was a lot of parameters that were very consistent with the people who voted for him, and very consistent with the people that didn't. So it is very telling.
Yeah.
The
The
people that know
problem
the
is,
city.
yeah, the problem is there's no real way to reverse that. You know what I mean? Like how I guess my point and my question to you is what does New York, we'll call it as an entity, have to do to reverse their decline?
So simple of an answer, and I think everybody knows it. They have to. You have to reverse your ideology of continuing to be pigeonholed and voting for the same party all the time. You know what I mean? If you continue with an ideology and you believe that a Democratic Party is going to lead you into what you really believe and want for your major city, keep indoctrinating people, indoctrinating people into believing that that is the ideology of this empathetic, of this caring, non-racist melting pot mentality. If you keep, if you keep spewing that to them and making them believe that that's what the party is, you're going to see all of these cities continue on horrible, horrible paths. You know what I mean? When they start
Yeah.
putting what makes them thrive, which is money, if they put that on the forefront, they can be okay. But if you villainize these major corporations and rich people, which there's no doubt he's saying that, he's telling you, if you are rich, you're gonna pay the price in New York City to be able to subsidize all of his programs. And I give him credit there. He's not hiding it,
No.
right?
Yeah, he definitely, again, a lot of people have made the comparison that he is the outsider telling people exactly what they want to hear. Even the debate that he had where they were asking, what was the first country that you were going to visit after the election or whatever, and of course everybody said Israel, and he's like, well, I'm not going to go anywhere, I'm going to stay here in the city because that's where my constituents are. Perfect answer. And that's appealing to people who are not happy with the status quo. Now, of course, the flip side of it is that the status quo is going to be perpetuated with him. Like, that's what Giuliani was able to do, was to be able to speak to people at a visceral level, and he was able to turn it around and actually do the things. But it does seem to sort of pan out that once they get some sort of an equilibrium and things are okay, they sort of revert back to liberal ideology.
I know. Yep. And if you really think about it, even from a very simplistic point, if you look back in New York, what really makes it um, um, stand out, or what really made it so special, I shouldn't say. Let me rephrase this. The demographic that made it so special, okay, was you did have the rich, the really rich, Wall Street, big banking. You know what I mean? You had that industry, right? So if that was kept intact, right? And then what also made it freaking amazing is that everything you see around it, the buildings, this what kept these 7, 8 million people in New York, give or take, right?
Yep.
So what took the people, what it took to keep all of that running, and I'm talking about from the traffic lights to the cracks in the cracks in the street corners to a window being cleaned in the storefront. That was all your opposite. That was all your blue collar working type guys, right?
Right.
So it had an amazing dynamic, which allowed both the pothole filler and the investment banker were both able to thrive in the city, right? That had some homeless, but it also gave you the eloquence of restaurants, right? It also gave you a culinary a lot of different type of choices, right? It gave you art, right? It gave you music, right? So there was a time, what I believe made the city great is it gave you every single thing that I think a liberal, or I should say, let's say a liberal and somebody that was more conservative. I think you've had the best of both, and it's what made the city great. What happened is when you have people, like I said, let's go on the conservative level. When you see those people that are thriving start yelling when they see a piece of artwork that they find offensive or they don't like, and they start picking on that, like that's like being too nitpicky, right?
Mhm.
Because you should have just left that alone, because we were all good. Like you can have all those things. Now everybody needs their pulpit, and everything has to be a movement. The people on the artsy guy that can't stand the investment banker, now he gets to preach to an audience, and it becomes a movement. You know what I mean? And the conservative guy that hates the artsy homeless guy, now they got a pulpit, they got a fucking movement. Everybody's got a fucking a chance to make a change now. How about you just live amongst?
Well, the key fact is that you did have, um, metal workers, and you had people working on the streets and investment. The key is that even though there was the poor, the middle, the rich, they were all pulling their own weight. They weren't dependent on free buses and free healthcare and free things. So you can have a very dynamic city and a group and a society that that differs from somebody who's making 30,000 to somebody who's making 300,000 and 3 million or whatever, if everybody is pulling their own weight. But the problem is that you start to get the humanity side, where, okay, well, if we just start providing a little bit to make the time in the city a little bit more comfortable, a little bit above the rest and things or whatever, that starts to snowball into paying everybody, sort of paying a lot of their income into the niceties and things where you don't have to do it for yourself. And then you get to the point where, okay, well, we have all these nice things, we need more tax revenue, so now let's start pandering to the rich, because they're the ones who are paying most of their income. So now we need to have more rich people in. So then they start having to move out the middle class and move out the blue collar people, because they're not making as much money, and then it snowballs into, well, we just need a whole lot of tax revenue. So we because all of this free stuff costs a lot of money, so we just need to keep doing it. And then I think it's, what is that called, the Laffer curve or something like that, where you appeal to the class that's taken from the tax revenue, and then you completely get rid of the people who are paying the taxes, and then all you're left with is the people who want the free stuff. So something's got to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's going to happen. That's the cool thing, is that we're gonna see right now. I look, and I know it's easier for me to say, well, I'm not there, but you know what? I wish him well. I hope that it pans out. I'm not going to say the way he wants it, but I hope it pans out where everybody can do well in a big city underneath under that type of ideology, and I truly mean that. That would be fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
But when your streets aren't kept the way they should, when your communities are being infiltrated by gangs, and when you guys start to notice how your constant belittling of law enforcement, how your police force legitimately dwindles, and you have recruitment down for those type of things. Let's see how it fares for you in 5 years, because I'll tell you, if you're a young kid, I'll tell you, when you're growing up in New York, one of the things that you always feel good about is that you know you at least know somebody in your family that has either been a firefighter or a police officer in New York, like at either NYPD or FDNY. And it always gave like even like shit bags, it gave them an out, at the end. All right, well, I'll just go take my police test, and they wanted to do that, nobody wants to fuck it. Why would you want to be a part of a police department that is constantly being criticized for everything they do? They're not being backed and supported by the people that should support them, which is the mayor and the governor. All the public officials that are supposed to be on their side are turning against them for this horseshit pandering to a constituency that's going to end up being the downfall of your city. And it's such a shame.
So, speaking of police officers, who is Officer Tatum?
I'm sure you know. You tell me.
That's really?
Well, I mean, what do you want? Okay. Officer Tatum is I think you all know who Officer Tatum is. He's an ex-police officer. He's very pro MAGA. He is very very pro Turning Point, Charlie. I think he's a very, very popular voice in the conservative movement, especially as a black man. He was almost on that Candace tip in regards to when like BLM was happening. He was always against it, and being a black dude against it, that took a lot of courage back then. And I think that's where he really rose to his level of popularity, was during that time, so the biggest thing with him right now, that I found interesting, that I thought we maybe can chat about a little bit, is his push against Candace. And he, in the beginning, when I mean the beginning, I want to say a few months ago, when Candace first started getting a little wacky.
Yep.
He was one of the when they asked him about it, and I think I brought this up to you. I don't think it was on the show, but he was very respectful of his friend, being Candace, but he made it clear that he wasn't really cool with what she was doing and or how she was doing it. I think since then that has changed, I don't know that for a fact, because I don't know. I don't have anything specific that had him talking about Candace after what I remember him saying. And I remember just being as diplomatic as he possibly can be, without crossing the line between friendship and what he believed. Now, because I think of like his pushback even against Candace a little bit, and now he's watching Tucker kind of get on board with that movement. Is that fair to say? And I don't even know what to. I'll tell you something, Rex. And I'm really sad about it. But I'm getting to the point where I really believe these guys, like, they know exactly what they're fucking doing. And it's like Candace, Tucker, Dave Smith, like, and Jesus Christmas, this has nothing to do with a Jewish thing. We all knew how they felt about Israel 3 years ago, right? So it's not like this is not about their viewpoint on Israel. This goes back to them leaning the fuck in, like seeing the opportunity and leaning the fuck in. We've already known your point of view, right? So you're not leaning in on your point of view. You're leaning in to fucking fill that fucking, you know what I'm saying? That mentality. They're fucking grifters, all of them. And I can't believe it. And none of them had to be. Is like, do you understand what I'm saying with that?
Yeah. And it's I think we've mentioned, I know I've mentioned it before that, like, I don't have my problem with Israel is not how good Israel is at defending Israel. Like, it's impressive how good Israel is at doing what they need to do to survive. Now, you're foolish if you're going to hate on them for doing that. However, my issue is that we are the people doing it for them. My issue is that they infiltrate our way of life to get what they need. And again, I don't blame them for it. What I do get upset about is people turning a blind eye to the fact that it does exist now. And I think that's where Tucker sort of started off. And because he kind of rode the fence back and forth with, hey, I don't, he would say, oh, Israel is a beautiful place. I wish them well, but, I just don't like them, using us as proxies or whatever. Now it's getting to the point where it's, Trump's controlled by the Israel and the whole
my point,
government
bro.
Controlled by Israel and things. Whatever. Now, you can make the claim, I guess, but I don't to lean in on it like him and Dave and you're coming up with an excuse. You're coming up with reasons why things are bad is because Jews. And even if that's the case, what the fuck are you going to do about it?
But my thing is, they didn't have to do that because they had enough already. You know what I mean? They had enough already.
Right.
But as I said with the Candace, with the Charlie Kirk stuff, you guys ruin your own credibility when you do this. I'm not even saying you're fucking wrong, but here's the thing. This is what gets me. Yo, they think, just so you know, I'm just gonna let you guys know this, and this is, I'm telling you, they think you're fucking dumb. Because as educated as people are and as smart as people are, I got to be honest with you, like sometimes outside the box, okay, you're not. And I'm saying it too, I guess. Like there's a lot of fucking dummies out there. And that doesn't mean like, believe me, listen to how I fucking talk. I get it. But let me explain something to you. I am fucking brilliant at being able to look outside the box. I am fucking brilliant at judging postures and character. Okay? And I'm telling you, they think you're fucking fools. The Candace Owens, the Tucker Carlsons, the Dave Smiths, they think that you are fucking fools. Okay? And if you don't for a second think that they are capable or their moral character is not aligned with that, you are fucking fools. Because you're being taken to the fucking bank. Your entire let's call it free will, your entire free thinking that these people are supposed to be a part of, okay, is being manipulated. And you guys, if you continue to push like they push, your credibility will be gone as well. Because I can sit here and I can say anything I want because I know later on I can go back and I can show where you cherry picking shit that I say and putting it into your bucket, okay, it's not gonna hold enough weight. It's not. You can cherry pick all fucking day long, but I promise you there can be somebody on the other side that's going to be cherry picking that can contradict everything that you fucking cherry picked on the other side. You know why? Because I'm open-minded on this show, okay? And I allow my opinion to have flows and ebbs because I want to be able to talk about what logically and reasonably I believe is the truth. And you could not cross the line of being insane, a grifter, a manipulator, and thinking people are fucking dummies, right? By just staying in the lane. Stay in the fucking lane. Stay in the lane of there are questions that need to be asked. That Israel has a lot of issues, and America needs to be wary of that. And what do we do about it? Okay. But when you start going to the sneaker store and buying your and you ask for a size 8, and they go, I'm sorry, we have no size 8. We have an 8.5. And you go, Jews, damn it, the Jews. Like, that's what you're doing. And you're a fucking idiot. You sound foolish. You sound fucking foolish. But then as you're walking out of the sneaker store and you want to have a discussion with your pal about how you feel like it was ridiculous that the U.S. dropped a bomb on Iran for Israel, guess what? Ta-da! You're right there. Do you see the difference, though? I'm sorry, guy.
No, I was going to say, and Officer Tatum, I think, starts the interview off. He did Trigonomics with Constantine Kissin. Everybody knows who it is. But he starts it off. He says, you know, if your whole life is hating Israel, then you're going to, just like you said, bring everything to it's Israel's fault. So let's just play a little bit of that.
And this guy, I'm 99% sure he killed Charlie. The only determining factor that could make anything change at this point, because they have overwhelming evidence. If they didn't find a round, if they didn't find a shell casing or a bullet fragment, he would go to prison for the rest of his life. They did find a bullet. If that bullet matched a 30-06, he's doomed. He would get a death penalty. If the bullet doesn't match the 30-06, we have a big problem. But every sign, symptom, everything that I know in law enforcement is pointing towards overwhelming evidence that this guy did it.
Like and subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you like.
Then just go to the next.
And by the way, add to the layover. Officer Tatum would now have to be Candace. We just added another to the list. Officer Tatum would now have to be covering up this. Just so you know.
Yeah,
he's part of it.
Right,
your friend, by the way, Candace, your friend.
Truth still matters.
In the Win with Zen sweepstakes,
you can get it's like he's always
that they're saying took an SD card. Mike Turek, who he was doing a head adjustment. I know that guy. Frank Turek is a great guy. He's a Christian guy. He's one of the biggest Christian apologists that go on campus every day. He was Charlie's good friend. I was just at an event before this, like a year before that, riding in the car with him. You know, he's a mentor. He's a great man. And then people on TV saying he's doing hand signals. His security team, these guys are all professional individuals that protect Charlie with their life for several years, everywhere he goes. And you think they're doing a hand signal. It's very sad to see some people are taking advantage of the moment, which means that
Rex,
it's a lot of money in conspiracies. Now that I found.
That just triggered something too. My little rant there about like the going overboard with shit. Like, that's a perfect example of like, you guys you're doing yourselves a disservice. You know, you really are. You're doing yourselves a disservice. Because when Officer Tatum said, like, just look at his reaction when he had to talk about something that was just so silly. You know what I mean? It really did take all the wind out of conspiracies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense to you? I mean, like just how he spoke about Frank Turek, just how, like, and maybe even if he's wrong, but like it takes the wind away, guys, from your argument, and maybe even my argument. You know how mad I am at you when you guys do this shit? because I agree with a lot of the points, and then you have to go fuck it up with your silliness, and so it bothers me too, because I'm not necessarily against you. I may be on your side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he presents the facts and the way things happened very calm, reserved. He's not putting his finger on the scale like Candace does with, with her inflection and very inquisitive and what if. I'm just asking he's just laying it out very calmly. He has complete grasp of what he's talking about, and again he goes into not only just Candace, but the conspiracy theories in general that only work if you omit all of the facts that we know on the table. We've been talking about since day one. There are certain things that we do know that have to fit into whatever conspiracy you're trying to work. If you omit those and you go off into some tangent, then you're doing yourself and everybody you're talking to a disservice.
I mean, it's so frustrating, man. It really is. No matter what side you're on.
Yeah.
Found out. I wish I was a part of conspiracy. I'd be making way more money than I'm making now. But there's money in conspiracies, but also there's people who have another motive. And it's rooted in anti-Semitism, which makes everything that happens go down the path to lead to Jew Street. Meaning that everything that
I've never heard this interview, but this is great.
Which will make people go up and beyond to outrageous lengths, beyond conspiracy, to make this person responsible or this group of people responsible. So those are kind of like the two phases and dynamics that I see in this whole Charlie Kirk thing, and Israel in some cases.
That must be so incredibly frustrating because, like you said, Charlie, you know what he thought. And to have it misrepresented and to have people like Candace who were close to Charlie, who worked with you, and then come out and take that track. I mean, that must be heartbreaking in a way because that's your friend or was your friend.
Yeah, I mean, Candace, it's a dynamic with Candace Owens with me that the public may not understand. Candace is like a sister, right? We're not just, I knew Candace more than Charlie. I work with Charlie, we go on stuff. Candace is like my family. All right. Me and her were like brother and sister ever since I met her. We started Blexit together, nonprofit organization that has helped wake up so many people around the country. Her aunt and my mama are like best friends. Her dad was in the hospital and I go to visit her dad at the hospital. We throw birthday parties for her dad. Like we're a family. Her kids, we visit our kids play together. And so people love to hear me just bash her online, and I don't. And people probably wonder why. It's because she's like my sister. And it's hard to watch some of the things that she say because I don't
Can you pause it for a minute?
Where it's coming from. And
that and
God.
Two things. One, you fucking Brits better start to change the way you talk because it's really annoying me. Frustrated.
You talking about the Lorax there?
Yeah, I can't stand the frustrated. Just it's frustrated.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, frustrating. Yeah, do me a favor, and if I have to give you fucking linguistic fucking coaching, you got a real problem, my friend. But back to my bigger point is, I mean, listen, once again, what resonates with you guys more? Okay. The explanation this man just gave you, right? Like, is there any doubt in your mind that he really cares about Candace? And did you doubt him being genuine with what he said in any way?
Right. And
no, I'm asking.
No, I'm going to respond. It's if you're going to credit Candace with how much she loved and appreciated Charlie Kirk, then you at least have to grant him the same level of caring. I would argue even more so because, he has a lot more substance to tack onto Candace, and he clearly has not, and is still very standoffish now doing it. So, if you're going to give Candace the gravity of her relationship to Charlie, then you at least have to grant that to him.
Just look at the way he shows grace. You know what I mean? And he truly. I mean, look at his face right there. It's actually, you can see it's uncomfortable for him to have to talk about this.
Right.
I mean, if that doesn't say something to you, and then yet he still is telling you that this is too much. It's what we've been telling you guys for months and months. I'm not saying let's not explore. Let's explore. But
Okay.
let's be realistic.
Friendship, because it's bigger than politics, right? You know, what happens when this stuff is over? Well, I'll say this. People would love to see me just bash her, right? But the same people will turn on me. Like, if you ever notice her content, she don't never say anything about me. And you know she disagreed with me. She probably adamantly disagreed with me. I'm probably one of the people that she, or at least the ideology that I have, is one of the people that she probably hate. But we don't talk about each other publicly. One reason is because when all of this stuff settles, right, the people that follow me, the millions of people, when I say something wrong, they hate me and they unfollow me and they never talk to me again. When you have a friend, it's hard to try to damage their relationship, because one day we're going to be old. Our kids are going to be, grown, and we may not even be in politics no more. And you don't want to burn that bridge. So it's a difficult dynamic for me. And it's the first time that anybody's heard me really talking this to a certain degree, because I am confused at some of the things that I've heard her say about Israel, about Charlie. It's confusing to me. And Candace is stubborn, if you haven't noticed. In our
Guys, can I
life,
make one more point real quick? Do you mind, Jen, pausing for a minute?
Sure.
This is a perfect example, bro. Do you not see this man? Like, it is so bothersome to him. You know what I mean? And he is trying to approach this with so much grace. And I like, do you understand what I'm saying, Rex? As far as like, did you see his approach? Guys, if for some reason, like any of the things that, let me rephrase that. Is it fair to say that one more time, is it fair to say that the way that Candace is approaching it, as we've been telling you for the longest time, is not the right way? Is it fair to say that this man would be someone who would recognize that, right? Wouldn't he be someone that would go, yeah, she's out of, he's confused by the things that, if this guy, someone that knows her so well, if he's confused by it, isn't it make sense that myself, Rex, a lot of other people that know nothing about her and just see and judge based off of what her content was and what her content is now, and just some of the facts that are out there, it's consistent with Officer Tatum,
right?
Right.
I mean,
and he knows her,
right? And that's the difference. Is
good point.
He's talking about somebody that he loves, who is an obvious disorder, and he's speaking it with concern, caring. He's very measured. It's in complete 180 of how Candace talks about Charlie. Now,
And
again, I'm not.
Speak to the point, Rex. Speak more to the point for me to make, because I want your take specifically on the fact that, is it fair to because I want to make you and I not look like these fucking nuts, because I'm saying to you, you have Officer Tatum who has the same opinion as you and I. And this man is not yelling like I yell. He's not, using ad hominem and all this stuff that maybe you would use. He's doing it in a totally different way. But yet you and I are what are you laughing at? Let's bring it to the show. What's up? Funny ad hominem got you?
The fact that you're like, I'm not going to use ad hominems like you do. Like, okay, well, how about us?
I gave one example of something I did by yelling. I was trying to include you, and I should have done anything. I apologize. That's what I was trying to do. So my point was, like him and I, like we're totally two different viewpoints, but we both feel the same exact way. Like, does that say anything, Rex? Like, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't that prove something? Or no?
It does. And I was trying to get to there. You may not agree with Footer or I on our stance of being open-minded and taking the facts as they are and presenting them in the way that we do it. Now, he hasn't even gotten into really displaying the facts or whatever, but he does. Again, there's a genuineness, there's a caring, there's a measured response to, and again, a lot of it, and most of it is because he cares about Candace. So again, if you're not going to listen to us because we don't know Candace and we don't have any sort of, connection to him or whatever, that's fine. But there's no reason that you can't listen to him explain calmly what's going on, and it somehow upsets you because he's speaking out, not anti Candace, but against what she's saying. Then the problem is with you, not with us, not with him. It's with you.
All right. That's it. That's it.
And I'm a stubborn person. She's stubborn. So it's kind of hard to say, Candace, let's sit down and talk about it. And one day I think I will. But it's a danger of saying, is this going to be our last conversation? Right? Is this we're going to get into a big old argument and it's going to be like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And that's, as a family member, like a sister to me, I don't want that to be a reality. It is very difficult to see it because I don't know where she's coming from with some of this stuff.
Can you pause that for a second?
I don't.
And that's exactly a crucial point. There is he's afraid if they were to get into a discussion or a debate or whatever, that it might be their last time talking to it. But I can guarantee you, he would not be the one initiating the finality of it. She would get upset and turn, and it would be entirely on her, just like somebody walking out of an intervention. Because she is filled with the anti-rage or whatever it is. I guarantee he's not going to be the one that's being like, you know what, Candace, we can't talk about this anymore. That rage comes from somewhere, and it's not from somebody who has a full grip of the reality of the situation. And that should tell you something.
What did you say? Exactly. What did you say to start? Do you remember what you said to start off? What you just said?
I had said that he wouldn't be the one that would initiate the finality of their relationship.
Yeah. You said something that was freaking triggered. Something that I want to.
Intervention.
No. I think it was something along the lines of the fact that yes, of course he has 73 million subscribers, but I mean Candace is significantly more popular than Officer Tatum, right?
Yep.
Don't you think that Officer Tatum could have easily just jumped right on board with his pal, and the two of them could have rode their way all the way together to the bank? You know what I mean?
For sure.
For sure. He's not doing that. She's a lot more successful than him. I can promise you that.
And by the same point, he could have gone the anti-Candace and jumped on that train.
That's it.
And done it as well and boosted his numbers. He didn't do that either.
Yeah, yep. And there's something, again, it'll come to me. It'll come back to me. That's something on that track that you had said when you first when you first did your little opener there, that triggered something of that nature. It'll come back to me. So you, again, if it doesn't, obviously nobody's going to be missing it.
We can play a little bit more, then we gotta bounce.
Know how to diagnose it. People in the public see her as a lunatic, but I don't know her as that person, right? I don't think, like, there's people out here that I think are bought. I mean, somebody paying them to say this stuff. I mean, they're out of control. Some people are saying things that they don't mean because it's a lot of money. Candace is very wealthy and successful. I think she actually believes what she's saying. I think she really believed it with her whole heart, which is also confusing to me, because some of the question marks that are popping up as far as who's involved, who's responsible, I can't wrap my head around that. I don't know how anybody would think that Israel killed Charlie. It is the
and that's where I feel like he's wrong.
Ridiculous,
you know what I mean?
That I've ever heard.
That's a perfect
Because
pushback
Charlie,
against. That's a perfect pushback against Tatum. You know what I mean? That's where I think is wrong. You know, him just using that broad, you know, that sentence going, I can't see how anybody can think that Israel had anything to do with killing Charlie. See, that again, it's not as extreme of him putting himself in a oh well, now your credibility is gone. But I think we all can understand, because there was Charlie was taking a little bit of a different opinion than aligns perfectly with Israel that he normally or that usually had done. You know, there was the meeting in the Hamptons. Whether there was something that was really intimidating or not, that's, you know, up for debate. But there was definitely some talking and some question. You know, at the minimum, there was some pushback about Charlie's you know, take on Israel at this point. So that's a little off.
You can if you just are walking into it fresh and you have, you know, the big whiteboard and you're putting on possibilities of people who might have done it, there's no reason that you can't put Israel on the board.
And not just for being Jews, for all of those little things that we talked about. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be for anti-Semitic reasons.
There would be tons of people on the board. And the way he sort of frames it here is that walking into it, no evidence at all. Why in the world did you put him on the board? That's insane. Now, if he's saying it with the evidence that we know and the things that we've put together so far, why would you put Israel on the board? Then I can understand it. But yeah,
there's no understand it that way.
Well, again,
I'm
not. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but again, the way he sort of frames it is the way you said it is. You can't put him on the board at all because that's just insane.
And you know what? And that's a good pushback, because you're right. He probably didn't mean that. He probably meant what you said. So if he did mean what you said, then there you go. That's like perfect. You know, if it was, you know, anything more, then that's where I would push back. All right, great point. Cool.
So yeah, if you guys want to watch the rest of the video, it's on his YouTube channel, The Officer Tatum. And again, he's on trigonomics, right? Trigonometry. Is it trigonometry or trigonomics? Whatever. The Constantine guy and the Lorax there. You can go watch them and enjoy their
frustrating.
Yeah. And again, I suggest that you watch that interview in full. It's very informative. And even if you wholeheartedly agree with Candace, and that's fine, it's worth looking at the other side. It's always worth looking at both sides of the argument in order to formulate your opinion.
I cannot wait to get the comments to tell us that we don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, and they will come. They will come,
and they're gonna take. This is what's gonna happen. Someone's gonna tell you that, because they're gonna listen to you say that, or me say that Israel shouldn't even be on on the board or something or something of that nature, and it's going to come into how can you say that Israel shouldn't be on the board and 1,000 terrible things about the Jews? We get it.
And then the other thing where I said he should be on the board, you anti-Semitic son of a bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For crying out loud. All right. All right. Good night, everybody. Good day. Good morning. Whatever you want to say. Take care. Peace out. Copperhead Road Podcast. Check us out on Rumble. You know all the good places. Spotify, iHeart Radio, iTunes, Twitch even.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't mean the platform. I mean, I would like to see you move indiscriminately.
And I can't say it enough. Join us on Rumble. There is going to be exclusive content on Rumble. You can only get it on Rumble. That will be coming soon. So if you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Twitch, YouTube, whatever, come to Rumble, follow us, download the app, and subscribe. Thank you.
Boom. And we got some good things coming up, everybody. So make sure you stay with us, okay? A lot of good things happening for the show. We have some guests and we have some new music that I'd like to introduce. We have a lot of things that happen. It's going to be really cool. So make sure you stick in with us. And again, the ones that don't agree, hang in there. Let's find common ground somewhere. If it's not on the issues, let's laugh it together at a dick joke or something. I don't know, but let's try to find common ground.
And if you're sitting there sleeping and thinking that Footer doesn't have any talent, wait till you hear his music that's coming out. It is, and again, I'm not even speaking because trust me, I'd love to smash him. It's amazing, and you're going to eat your words if you think that he's not talented. He's got some beats.
I'm okay.
Veterans Day, everybody.